There once was a Scottish Terrier named Gilgamesh, who everybody's name thought was Hildetesh, because he spoke with an Irish accent. Although this accent is not Irish, this is what they thought an Irish accent was. However, Gilgamesh, the Scottish Terrier, he enjoyed thoroughly eating treats of Scottishness, like haggis. The Scottish Terrier did enjoy his haggis. It was really quite amazing, as, well, he was a dog, and of course he enjoyed haggis. What dog wouldn't enjoy the intestines of a sheep? The poor sheep, however, do not enjoy it when their intestines are ripped out and cast asunder. They actually find this quite disheartening. It's quite amazing, actually, if you asked any sheep. And it turns out that one day Gilgamesh did in fact ask a sheep what he thought of haggis. Now, Gilgamesh, not the brightest of dogs, didn't actually realize what haggis was. So when he was talking to the sheep, he's like, "Oh, hi, I love me some haggis." And the sheep was appalled, like just shocked and just terrified, burst into tears, big sheepy tears. And the Scottish Terrier, Gilgamesh, he's like, "Oh, hi, what is wrong?" I like this accent. "Oh, hi, what's wrong?" And then it's like, what do you mean? It's like, why are you talking about haggis? My Aunt Clara, she was taken just last week, and she was ground up into mulch and turned into haggis, stuffed sheep intestine and everything like that. And Gilgamesh is just like, "Say what? What are you talking about?" Because, again, like I said, he had previously absolutely no idea that this was even a thing. That sheep intestine was actually, the thingy that he was eating. He thought he was just, eating meat. Now, you see, Gilgamesh didn't actually realize that meat came from animals. He was a very civilized dog. If he had been told that all meat came from animals, well, actually, he was. It proceeded to go on that Dilbert the sheep did actually, in fact, tell him about all sorts of different things. He was asking about chicken, he was asking about beef, and all these different things. It's like, yes, chicken. It actually comes from chickens, which is why it's called chicken. Beef comes from cows. Well, when he said beef comes from cows, Gilgamesh is, of course, like, well, then why is it called beef? If it comes from a cow, shouldn't it be called cow? It's like, well, you could also call it cow. I don't know why they call it beef, because he's a sheep. What do sheep know? Sheep don't know nothing. Like, you should ask the sheep down the block. "Hey, Harrison." Bah! Yeah, Harrison don't know squat. Harrison knows nothing. Nothing. Harrison isn't a sheep. Harrison's goat, actually. Well, goat are less intelligent than sheep. Ask any sheep. Like, if you talk to any sheep, it's like, "What do you think of goats?" And it's like, "They're brainless." Yeah, that's what they'll say. They'll tell you that goats are brainless. Is this true? I don't know. I just work here, and I've never met a goat or a sheep, so it might be true. The more you know, or the less you know. But who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. Sweet home, Jesus, hallelujah, Caroline. After all this, Gilgamesh was actually quite confused, because while he was now concerned that he had actually been eating meat, the sheep, Dilbert, that he was talking to was obviously quite insane, because he had started rambling off on all sorts of other stuff. So he bid Dilbert farewell, and Dilbert actually ended up walking off to the slaughterhouse unknowingly, and was eaten the next day by Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh's brother, Pilgrim. I don't know why they named him Pilgrim. Hey, I am not the person who names things. If it was my dog, I'd name him Woofer. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have a dog. Oh, hello. Regardless, Gilgamesh. he was distraught after learning this information from Dilbert about how all the meat that he had known and loved and eaten was actually animals. Animals that he also knew and loved and didn't want to eat. He was worried now about all these poor souls, and he decided to become a vegetarian. Of course, he didn't know that's what it was called because he's a dog. Do you know any dogs that know what a vegetarian is? Probably not. Do you know any vegetarian dogs? Probably not, because I believe dogs are carnivores? I think. My understanding is that dogs are carnivores. Well, assuming that they are, this actually caused some problems in poor Gilgamesh's life, as he started to become very malnourished, as just eating grass wasn't doing it for him at all, actually. Because he did start just eating grass because he asked his friendly neighborhood cow, Moobert. Yes, he was asking Moobert about the golden armor. No, he was asking Moobert all about, what do you eat, Moobert? And Moobert actually said, my name is not Moobert, it's Rupert. I don't know why everybody thinks my name is Rupert. Gilgamesh was just confused, but we just think that's fine. Who really cares? Gilgamesh is a dog. Do you think it really matters if Gilgamesh was confused about Rupert's name because he thought Rupert, being a cow's name, was Moopert? So he still called him Moopert, regardless, which I guess Moopert was sort of used to because people always called him that anyway. Even though his name was actually Rupert, they still called him Moopert. Regardless, anyway, he says to the cow, Moopert, what do you eat? And Rupert just sort of sighs in frustration and says, well, I actually just eat grass. So you see all this grass everywhere, I just stand around and I eat grass all day. Gilgamesh is like, alright, I'd never thought of doing that. I could try it. What's the worst that could happen, right? Obviously, he had never heard of malnutrition. Well, he hadn't. Of course he hadn't. He's a dog. Why would you think he would have heard of malnutrition? Like, what? What, you think he's some kind of super dog? No. He's just a dog. He's just a regular dog. Regular dog who learned the truth about meats and is now afraid of eating all the friendly animals that he really loves. Loves to eat, mind you. He did love to eat them. They were delicious. I gotta say, steak is quite delicious. So is bacon. Nobody told him about bacon yet, and if they had told Gilgamesh about bacon, I'm sure he would have been so distraught he wouldn't have been able to find the will to go on, because how could you go on without delicious succulent bacon? Oh, bacon, how much I love thee. However, Gilgamesh was asking about grass, so he did decide that he was going to try it. And he ate grass. He ate grass, and a couple days went by and he was just eating grass, and he just got sick and he wasn't feeling so well, and so he comes back and he's like, Moopert, this is not working for me. I don't understand. Like, why do I feel so terrible? Why do I feel so bad? I've been eating grass, and it's exactly what you eat, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Well, Moopert said, I forgot to mention this, but you sort of need multiple stomachs. I have more than one stomach, so I'm able to digest grass. Rupert was actually a very smart cow. He was well educated. He had his PhD in muology. Yeah, it's a cow thing. Yeah, muology's a cow thing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Forget about it. But yes, Rupert, really. We know his name is Rupert. Everybody else still thought his name was Moopert, but we know it to be true as Rupert. But yes, Rupert. He was a cow. And yes, he did know the truth about stomachs. Of course, he did forget to mention this to our poor, unsuspecting puppy dog, the Scottish Terrier, Gilbert. who, as I said, got really, really sick. It was unfortunate, actually. He almost died. Almost died. But then he didn't. Funny thing happened. He started feeling better. A lot better. Turns out, the grass was genetically modified, and it was bacon. It was grass bacon. Rupert died not long after. Not because of the bacon, mind you. The bacon had been genetically modified by the farmer because, well, they wanted to see if they could make bacon-flavored cow. No. Poor Rupert was actually killed because he needed to be turned into cow bacon meat. And it actually turns out that this combination of cow and bacon, cow eating bacon-flavored grass, it flavored that cow quite nicely, and it turns out that Rupert was delicious.